It's the Infectious Groove Podcast, part of the Odd Pods Media Network. Recorded from Detroit, Michigan, and Jacksonville, Florida. The Infectious Groove Podcast is your source for jammy jams, album reviews, and the best in-depth music discussion. Thanks for joining us. Now here are your hosts.
Well, hello, my name is Russ, and ooh boy, has it been a week. It has, I am as surprised as you might be to be having a new episode of the Infectious Groove Podcast today. To be quite honest, I'm super excited that I'm able to make a new episode of the Infectious Groove Podcast. And we were updating people on Facebook and Twitter as to what happened. And I know a lot of people in the podcast community and several of our listeners tweeted back in words of encouragement and everything. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. And going forward, as we go through the process of finding out exactly what happened and how to prevent anything bad happening to me in the future, I greatly appreciate everybody's words of encouragement and just being all around cool about everything that's been going on. And we actually had people say, we'll go over it, some of the feedback too, but like, you know, putting the show on the back burner is okay. But I feel good enough to be doing this. So we're going to do that. So joining me this week on the episode, this is kind of an extra special episode. Joining me this week is my son, Zach, who I've talked a great deal about on the program, and he has appeared on our YouTube channel several times, but this is the first time you're actually on like a full episode of the Infectious Groove Show, right?
Yeah. This is the first time that I am on an episode.
Right.
I've already been on the Beard Out podcast twice.
Yeah. You've been on Lauren's podcast a couple of times, but didn't get over on this show. So, but Zach is my son. He is 16. He, of course, has immaculate taste in music because he is my son and has grown into his own taste that he likes a great deal as well.
Why, thank you.
And as we get into this episode, we're going to do our usual thing. I have a little bit of feedback to share from the past couple of episodes. I have our jammy jams, both Zach and I are going to share. And then when we get into the second half of the episode, we have a totally epic cover battle coming your way. And I think this one's going to be a big one because it's an extremely popular original and an extremely popular cover. Sometimes when we do these cover battles, I get exposed as the old because I'm the only one that remembers the original, or sometimes people didn't even know it was covered or something along those lines. So
I didn't listen to either of these songs before.
Right on.
Well, I haven't listened to the song.
That's good. That'll be a unique perspective then, for sure. Because I grew up on the original and for sure heard the cover a ton. So we are going to be discussing Boys of Summer, the Don Henley original versus the more recent cover from the Ataris. That will be in the second half of the episode. But let's get into our usual stuff and read some feedback.
Feedback, John. Don't worry about that. Right. Where would rock and roll be without feedback?
So last week's episode of the show was centered around our Spotify Wrapped and what Michelle doesn't believe or believes regarding robots and Spotify and how they get their numbers and so on and so forth.
There's a lot of feedback from Michelle.
Right. And I knew going into that episode that I was going to have the lowest amount of minutes streamed, because I listen to, a lot of vinyl. I listen to a lot of things at home. And when we're out in the car and whatnot, Lauren always has her phone hooked up to the car system.
Yeah.
So, and we have a joint playlist. So
you just stream off hers instead of yours. And then.
So I knew going into the episode that my numbers were going to be the lowest, but mine was at like 9,000 minutes listened or something. And our guest Seth from the Treble podcast had by far us beaten on the show with like 39,000.
Mine were at 53,000.
You were at 53?
53.
Right on. Well, Dayton, who has been on our show before from the Docking Bay 77 podcast, tweeted at us, and he has everyone beat. He says, here's my total listening minutes of streaming. My job makes this easy. 8 hours of streaming music every day. I win, ? 77,392 minutes. He streamed last year. So yes, Dayton wins.
Yeah, it's not even my job.
Right, yeah. Michelle tries to make everything on the program a competition, so I guess.
Because it is for Michelle.
Right, yeah, for sure. Another thing that came about last week was I was continuing to try and talk Seth into giving any Billie Eilish material a chance. He just absolutely does not like Billie Eilish.
What?
Yeah, I know, but to each their own too, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I know you know this. I love her latest record, Happier Than Ever. So
her entire catalog is perfect.
Right on. So I was trying to get Seth to at least take a listen to Billy Bossa Nova.
Yeah.
And he did. And Seth writes in and says, I tried listening to Billy Bossa Nova and gave it a fair chance. However, this is the slowest Bossa Nova. And you know how my attention span works with slow songs. I can see the appeal, though, so I feel like this is the nicest we're going to get.
Yeah.
Out of Seth as far as that goes. Regarding what I was saying with the Twitter updates that I was passing out with myself being in the hospital over this past weekend, I did tell everybody that I wasn't sure if we were going to have a podcast episode this following week, but I was going to try and make it happen. Nick Bacchiato wrote in and said, take your time. Your health is much more important than hearing Michelle be wrong all the time. Rest up and feel better.
I could not agree more.
Right. Regarding our YouTube channel, by the way, no matter what happens with the podcast over the coming weeks, assuming I have every intention of getting a podcast episode out every week, but in case we don't, we have a ton of YouTube content lined up already, like shot, edited, uploaded, scheduled. So that won't be interrupted. There's content coming on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday every single week. There's stuff already shot and edited and uploaded and scheduled through the beginning of February. So,
yeah, you and Lauren are always on the content grind. I'll text you and you'll be like, hold on, I got to shoot a video. I'll be right back.
Yep, absolutely. Regarding that, we just had a video the other day, 2 separate videos. One where Lauren shared her 5 favorite songs from the year 2003, since it was 20 years ago now.
Oh, yeah, I didn't watch that video.
And then I also did one of my favorite songs from the year 2003. But one person commented and hit a song that neither of us mentioned, and I'm surprised. He said, no other song from 2003 tops Outkast's Hey Ya for me.
Wow.
Yeah, and neither Lauren nor I had that on our list, and I remember that song's huge. I mean, I still love it, but it was huge then, you know. So anyways, that was some feedback that we have. If you have anything to share with us, please make sure to do so on our social media. You can actually just email us right at infectiousgroovepodcast@gmail. You can go to our .com and send us a message through there. You can leave us a voicemail at 313-364-9899. Tweet at us, leave a voicemail message or a Facebook message, whatever you'd like to do, and we'll be more than happy to include you in our show. Moving along, our jammies. As far as jammy jams go, this week for me has been kind of odd. I have 2 artists that I don't dislike at all, but I don't know. I'd say I know maybe a third of both of their catalogs.
Yeah, I have an artist on mine too that's like that.
For me, the 2 artists that I've been listening to a lot this week, and I'm not breaking any ground either for myself or anybody else, is Elton John and Billy Joel.
Solid.
But I never listen to anything really new from either of those artists, and I don't mean like later material. I mean like
new for you.
Yeah, I know the songs I know by those guys, and that's what I listen to.
Yeah.
And it's funny, for both artists, I like a little bit from the 70s, a lot from the 80s, and a little bit from the 90s. Like for both Billy Joel.
Yeah.
So for like Billy Joel, I love like The Longest Time, Uptown Girl, We Didn't Start the Fire, like that type of stuff.
Yeah, those are all great
If I
songs.
never hear Piano Man again, it'll be too soon. Like I'm just bored with it.
Yeah.
Know? But then like I like River of Dreams and a couple other things that he did in the 90s, you know? And so with Elton John, I love like Sad Songs Say So Much. I guess that's why they call it the blues. I really like a lot of what he did in it, like even I Don't Want to Go On With You Like That, stuff like that. But then I like Candle in the Wind and all that.
Yeah.
So it's not I didn't hear some new to me Elton John that blew my mind or anything.
Yeah.
Same thing with Billy Joel. I just was listening to a lot of what I already listened to.
Yeah.
From those 2 artists. So those were my jammy jams. What have you been listening to?
Well, a few other things. There's an artist that I haven't introduced to you yet, but they're well known. It's a group that's new-ish. It's called AJR.
AJR?
AJR.
Okay, what I always ask this and people get mad at me. I'm not sure why, but what genre? How would you classify it?
I'm not sure how to classify it. It's kind of I don't even know how to classify their sound.
I know that's what everyone says when I ask them to classify anything. But okay, so what do you like by them though?
Drama, I'm Not Famous, a few songs that I've been listening to.
And do they have just the one record out so far?
No, they have a few records out. I'm just talking about they're new to being at the top.
Okay, new to like being known.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least to me. And that's been a staple. And then
I'm sorry, so it's AJR and you said Drama and there was another song.
I'm Not Famous.
Okay, right on. All right, what else you got?
And then I got Billie Eilish.
Yeah, well, that's because you have good taste.
Yeah, I've been listening to When We Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go, which is her second album, her first studio album.
Right. I still have yet to dig into that. I really want to. I've heard songs from it.
Yeah.
But I haven't dug into it like I want to.
You can hear glimpses of what you like from Happier Than Ever, but then you can hear the stuff that you are not going to like as much, which is more sound from my generation.
Sure. Like electronic.
Yeah. But you can definitely
which I'm
hear.
not opposed to. And you know this because we've talked about it to a great extent. I just think the creativity on Happier Than Ever, like the diversity and creativity that's on that record is something no one else is doing.
Oh, yeah.
So my concern is I'm going to listen to When We Sleep, Where Do We Go? That's what it's called, right? The first
When We Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go?
When We Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go?
Yeah.
I'm concerned that I'm going to listen to it and it's going to be very samey.
Yeah.
You know?
You can definitely hear Phineas. You can hear his earlier works in it.
Right on.
And you can definitely hear Billy maturing as an artist as you go through the album.
That's awesome. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, and it's very good. It's a story. You just have to kind of dig for it.
Right on.
And I've been listening to that. I've been listening to Man in a Box.
Like Alice in Chains?
Yeah, Alice in Chains.
Right
I've been listening to that. I listened to that like 3 times on the plane today.
Yeah. Do you foresee that taking you down an Alice in Chains rabbit hole to like dig into more?
Maybe.
Their sound really evolved. I will tell you that they quickly became less hard rock. I mean, they have songs that are very hard rock after that, but they quickly turned into, and I like the turn that they made, but they quickly turned into much more like moody.
Yeah.
It's like, if you know, do you know the song Wood by Alice in Chains?
I've heard it.
Okay. If you know of that at all, or Rooster,
Yeah.
a lot of what they do is like that. It's like very moody.
Yeah.
And I mean, I like it a lot. And they do later, like their last studio record that came out before Lane Staley passed away. It's just a self-titled record. Is kind of a return to the harder rock, like
nice.
Man in the Box.
Yeah.
So you got the AJR, Billie Eilish, and
Alice in Chains.
Specifically Man in the Box.
Yeah.
That is a hell of a song, though.
Yeah, and then I got one song which is not going to surprise anybody. It might surprise you. Kentucky Rain by Mr. Elvis Presley.
Yeah. You know what, though? I grew up on the studio version of that, but I heard a live version, I don't know, like 10 or 15 years ago, and he sings it with so much more soul.
Oh, yeah.
That I have to listen to live versions of it.
After Priscilla left, he sang that song with a whole new meaning.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, all the material, and the people have heard me talk about this on the show a great deal. All the material that he was doing around 70 or so is all heartbreak.
Oh my God.
But
yes.
yeah, even what you're saying though, the songs that he would sing before had like new life.
Yeah.
And them in Kentucky Rain is definitely, I'm going to try and find a good version of a good live version to put on
the studio version isn't bad. It just doesn't have as much soul put into it as the later live versions did.
For sure. Which you can say of almost anything.
Yeah.
Elvis did. Cool. So those are our jammy jams between myself and Zach. And I think he brought a lot of good diversity to the table, which is awesome. And as always, we will put those on the Infectious Groove Podcast playlist on Spotify. So if you want to hear those songs plus the covers that we're going to discuss in a couple of minutes, then go ahead and follow the Infectious Groove Podcast playlist on Spotify, and all those songs will be there for you. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to get into this week's totally epic cover battle, which I told you at the top of the hour is going to be interesting. It's going to be over the song Boys of Summer, the Don Henley original versus the Ataris cover from a couple of years back. You are listening to the Infectious Groove Podcast on the Odd Pods Media Network.
This is Beer in Front. Every week I'll talk about a beer that maybe we've forgotten along the way while we get those check-ins and badges. Being the Chicago beer guy, I'll also talk about great craft beer in the city of Chicago. And remember, sometimes the beer in front of you is the best one yet. That's Beer in Front, part of the Odd Pods Media Network.
Hi, I'm Shannon.
I'm Jamie.
We're Married with Television, marriedwithtv.com. We are a couple of Hollywood normies on the outskirts of the film and TV industry, and we talk about our favorite TV shows, music, and movies, and sometimes they talk back to us.
Sometimes they do.
Our podcast is Married with Television, one word, on Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, and SoundCloud.
Possibly Amazon soon. And we are a proud member of the Odd Pods Media Network.
Married with TV.
MarriedWithTV.com.
We are back. It's Russ from the Infectious Groove podcast. And along with me this week, I am proud and excited to have my son, Zach, join me. And I've talked about Zach a great deal on the show, like not overdoing it, you know, but I often talk about how good your music taste is and how, you know, I'm proud that you are as active into music as you are. And so it's cool for the listeners. Maybe if they listen to the show but don't watch the YouTube channel, then they're not familiar with you as a person. So yeah. I think it's cool that Zach is going to go through this with us because, and I didn't learn this until I talked to him about this, I just have figured with how deep into music our house is that you would have heard at least one of these versions of Boys of Summer.
Neither.
Yeah. So it's interesting to me. It's cool for you to come in. I don't think we've had a totally epic cover battle yet where someone hasn't heard either version of a song, which I think
I'm
is
glad to be the first.
I think this is a really cool and unique deal. So having said that, what we do is we go through this and we talk about what we like about the original, what we like about the cover, which one is our own personal favorites and why. And a little twist on that question is which one would we recommend to someone else? The song in question this week is, in fact, Boys of Summer. The song was originally recorded and released by Don Henley. A lot of people don't know this, but the music for the song was written by Mike Campbell, who is of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers fame. So the music was written by Mike Campbell, but then Don Henley came up with the lyric to go with it. It was the lead single from his second solo record, Building the Perfect Beast. Solo, of course, of the late Eagles, who at the time had broken up in just a couple of years prior, which I couldn't be happier about because I'm not a huge Eagles fan, but
neither am I.
A lot of people are.
Yeah.
You know, millions of albums sold. The single itself was originally released in October of 1984. It made it all the way up to number 5 on the U.S. charts and to number 12 in the U.K. So really successful single. And I feel like even without the Ataris, it's a song that grew on its own. Like if you had asked me before I looked up some stats on the song, was this a number 1 hit? I would have been like, for sure.
Yeah.
Not that number 5 is shabby, but
yeah.
And you have to also remember at that time in 84, the competition was ridiculous. So it wasn't like everybody just got to be on top of the hill.
Yeah, music was a tough industry.
Yeah, I mean, there was so much raw talent around.
Yeah.
So even a former Eagle couldn't get
to number 1.
Yeah, couldn't get a song up like this up to number 1. So the Ataris came along in the year 2003 and released their 4th album, So Long Astoria. Now, the album was released in March of 2003, and this cover was not intended to be a single off the record, but rock stations started playing it on their own. Like they were like, man, Boys of Summer is such a jam, and wow, this is a cool rock version. So rock stations started playing it on their own. And then the band just said, well, we might as well officially release this as a single.
Yeah.
So they officially released it as a single. Now, it did go to number 2 on the modern rock chart, but only number 20 on the Hot 100. So it didn't do quite as good as
the original
Don Henley's original did on the overall chart, but modern rock chart, which wouldn't have even been a thing in 1984.
Yeah.
They made it all the way up to number 2 on that, which
all
is pretty rad.
Yeah.
So as far as the original goes, now this is where we're going to have 2 completely different perspectives because I was around when the original came. And I also, like when I was a little kid, I didn't know anything about the Eagles, right? So I wasn't like, I don't like the Eagles, you know. If anything, I probably heard like Hotel California and was indifferent to it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But what I will tell you is for me at the time in 84, this song didn't sound like anything else. Like even, you know, you got to remember at the time what was popular was Michael Jackson, Prince, Bruce Springsteen, Cyndi Lauper, and this just sounds different than anything else that was around and that was popular at the time. It's not a dance number, it's not a ballad, it's not a rock song. You know, it's totally different than anything else.
What the vocals give me a vibe of. Now, if I'm wrong here, you got to tell me. Mm-hmm. But it gives me Summer of '69 vibes.
And I was gonna mention this as part of you're talking about like the reminiscing aspect of the
where it's like talking about this perfect view of summers past,
right? Yeah. And what I actually put in my notes is, to me, the song sounds very modern for the time. Like I think today, I don't think the original sounds dated.
Yeah.
Like if I played it for you and asked you, I should have done this earlier today, but if I asked you what year it came out, I don't think you would have thought it was 80s for sure.
No.
Like there's a lot of stuff from the 80s that
that's been dated.
You put on, you're like, oh, that's from the 80s, and I don't think the song does. And it doesn't sound dated at all. But like you said, it very much sounds like a person looking back.
Yeah, looking back on times that they want to be back in.
Yeah. So I like that a lot about the original. I also think Don Henley's vocal take is great, especially for a person who doesn't care for the Eagles, and he did a lot of lead vocals on the Eagles stuff, But I think he does it's a great vocal. So that's the stuff that I like about the original. What do you got that you like?
I like it a lot because it's a lot softer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, obviously it's going to be a lot softer, but I like it because it gives off those vibes that I was talking about earlier, where it's like it's looking back on the summer that he wants to remember fondly, and it's not a love song, but it's talking about.
I feel like it is to a certain extent.
Yeah,
like with basically like it's almost a love lost song, like where he says, "My love for you will still be strong after the boys of summer have gone." Like. Like, okay, well, when you get done messing with all those people, like, I'll still be here.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a love song in as much as that.
Yeah.
But it's also, that's one of the things I like about the original is it's got kind of an edge to it, but it's more remorseful. Like, like he's bummed.
Yeah. And I love how it is it's looking back, and it's kind of like what should have happened or what I want to happen.
Right.
Rather than the cover, which is more angry.
Yeah. One of my favorite lyrics in the song is the line where he says, I thought I knew what love was, but what did I know? Those days are gone forever. I should just let them go. But, I think it's very telling that it was, I should just let them go. But, and then it goes back to the original chorus of like, I can't get over this.
Yeah. And it's kind of taking you down that path of the mental thought that you would be going through if something like this happened, and you'd be going further and further and you want to let go of it, but then you pull yourself right back in.
Keeps pulling you back in.
Yeah.
What do you like about the cover? Well, actually, I should say, because we oftentimes on the show, people will be like, yeah, I didn't like anything about this version.
I like it. It's just very time capsule-y.
So when we were talking about how, at least in both of our opinions, the Don Henley version doesn't sound dated.
Doesn't sound dated at all.
However,
the Ataris is very dated.
Like to you, as soon as it comes on, you're like, yep, that was right before I was born.
Yeah, and watching the music video earlier didn't help. Very early 2000s. Like you put it on, and before anything even happens, you look at the way the video is shot, and you're like, wow, this is early 2000s.
A certain place and a certain time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just getting rid of all of that idea. I like the song. I like it.
The cover.
Yeah, it's just, I like the cover. It's just a completely different headspace than what the original is. It's a very angry.
I know this is going to be, exactly what you said. I know this is going to be inherent in the fact that it's a hard rock cover.
Yeah.
So it's going to have a harder edge, obviously, but it sounds more angry.
Yeah. Just a little.
Like the for lack of a better term, the Don Henley take on it vocal to me sounds mopey.
Yeah.
And I mean that in a good way. We've all been mopey about stuff. And to me, it sounds very like, I didn't get my way.
Yeah.
Right?
And
the Ataris guy's like mad about it.
Yeah. The Atari guy is, he's gonna do something about it.
Yeah. 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 I can see that. Yeah.
It's just a completely different take on the same story. Two different takes on the same story.
Now, and you like that, or it's just an observation?
I like that you can see the difference in both takes. I like that you can see the difference in both takes.
Right.
But I do like Don Henley's better.
Okay. As far as at least the vocal take.
As far as the vocal take, yes.
Now, what about like the hard rock sound of it? Do you care one way or the other about because the Don Henley version is, it's got guitar in it, but it's very keyboard driven.
Yeah, I like both of them, but if I had to pick one to listen to, I'd pick the Don Henley version.
Okay, well, no, we're not there yet.
No.
But yeah, I guess we'll count that as your answer when we get there. But as far as what you like about the cover, you do like the more aggressive vocal take, or
I like that they took it in a different direction and didn't just try and cover it the exact same way.
See, that's a fair point too. Like we've had, and people have left comments for us a lot saying a cover doesn't really matter unless you're going to do something different with it. And I think that the vocal take alone on this is different enough that it brings something maybe not better, but something different.
Something different to the table, yeah.
Guys singing the exact same lyrics in the exact same key, but in a different way enough to where you get a different feeling from the song.
Yeah.
So as far as what I like about the cover, first of all, the only thing I think that's timeless about it is the guitar tones, like the actual tone of the guitars that could have been recorded in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, like, or today, you know, like it doesn't have any like of the time sounding effects on there. It's just a great wall of sound rock guitar.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I do like the completely different take that being a harder rock song brings to it. It's like inherently, like we just said, the guy's singing the same lyrics in the same key, but because it's being sung harder, it gives you a whole different perspective on the same exact lyrics.
Yeah.
Speaking of the same exact lyrics, I personally cannot stand when people change lyrics to songs when they cover it. This one here is the only one in the history of music that I've ever approved of.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
So, just so I'm to be clear on this, I don't even like it when people change pronouns in songs, right?
Yeah.
So if you get somebody who is covering, I don't know, if a female is covering a Prince song and they change it from she to he or whatever, I just don't, just sing the song, man,
Yeah.
And we actually, not long ago, we did a cover battle of Jolene by Dolly Parton versus the White Stripes. And one of the things that everybody applauded was the fact that Jack White's confident enough to have left it as please don't take my man just because you can. Like, he wasn't like, I got to find a way to make this woman because I'm insecure about myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and both of those versions are amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you don't like Jack White, you're not going to like the White Stripes version, but
oh, for sure. Yeah. But the usual problem I have with a lyric change is because people are trying to take something and make it relevant or like I say, the pronoun thing or whatever. It's annoying.
Yeah.
The lyric in this one, I think, is a lot deeper, the lyric change, than most people think of. And that is the line. The line in the original is, out on the road today, I saw a deadhead sticker on a Cadillac. A little voice inside my head said, you don't look back. You can never look back. So that has to do with the entirety of the song. Like, it actually places the song, you now know when he's talking about, because the dead was huge in the late 60s, early 70s. So like, now you know exactly a time and a place that he's talking about, right?
Yeah.
And what happened in the 80s with like the Dead and the Stones and everything is they all became corporate acts, right?
And it's the aging ideal of the rebel.
Yeah. So if you see, a Deadhead sticker on a Cadillac, then that's a huge, like, that time is really over.
Yeah.
Okay. And then in the Ataris version, they change it to a Black Flag sticker on a Cadillac, which it's saying the same thing.
Just for a different time.
But those people exist that are like, I'm a punk.
Yeah.
Well, like, I'm sure you did love Henry Rollins and Black Flag and Rancid and all that stuff when you were a kid. But like, you're not really still a punk if you're putting that, just because you put their logo on your item that in every way
is against their idea.
Yeah. Is shows you're a part of the establishment. Now.
Yeah.
And it also, again, places it, exactly when this guy is talking about.
Yeah.
Like people would have been getting huge into Black Flag in the mid 80s,
Yeah.
Same thing as, when Henley is talking about, right? I've never in my life ever, if you would have even told me before this, they did Boys of Summer and they changed lyrics, I would have been like, damn it.
Yeah.
But when you hear it, you're like, okay, there's at least some thought into that. Yeah. Plus, in their defense, in 2003, if they would have said Deadhead, people would have been like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Plus, it would have made the song relevant to a person at that age. Like, I assume they're in their 20s when they cut this song. I would hope that they're not more thinking about a woman they were in love with 40 years before that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that? Are you okay with that lyric change or no?
Yes, I'm actually for the lyric change in this instance. I would rather them have changed it. If I could go back and be like, don't change it, I wouldn't. I'd insist that they change it.
Right.
Because it brings the song and the meaning behind that lyric to a whole new generation who understands it better than they would have if they didn't change it.
Anybody who really pays attention to lyrics and thinks about it, they would have the same feeling about the lyric that I was explaining about the original.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas they might, if it said Deadhead still, they might be like, I don't quite understand. I mean, let's say they go through the trouble of looking up what a Deadhead is. They'll be like, well, why does that matter? You know, like that wouldn't matter to them. Whereas a younger person would totally understand what it means to have a black flag sticker on a Cadillac. Right.
Yeah.
So, and then the other thing too is the one thing that I love about the cover is the way the Don Henley one is just one wave. Like it's a very mellow song the whole time. And with this one being harder rock, I love on the last, Those Days Are Gone Forever. And when it stops and everything stops and I should just let him go, and then it kicks back in. I think that's brilliant.
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah. If you're going to do a hard rock cover of this song, you absolutely have to do that.
Yeah. And I agree with you. I totally agree with you with the originals kind of just a wave.
Right.
But it's kind of like shifting gears almost.
Yep.
And it's an amazing, this cover was pretty much what covers are supposed to be.
I would say that. Yeah. I feel like if you are somebody who grew up on the Eagles, you're probably, your gut instinct is going to be, they ruined it.
Yeah.
They made it that noisy rock music. But while it is a completely different song, in my opinion, emotionally, I don't think they ruined it. I think they put a different take on the same song. It's the same exact lyrics. They put a whole different emotional take on it.
Yeah. And I feel like a cover isn't supposed to be just the same song sung the same way, just by a different person.
Right.
I think that it should be the song that you love and what you think the meaning of the song is, and you put that emotion into it.
Right.
And you don't change the lyrics so much unless it's in this instance, and it needs to be changed to talk to a newer audience and carry the message on.
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel like this cover it puts a spin on it. It puts new meaning into the lyrics for a newer generation.
Yeah.
And it takes it and it sings the song not the same way, but it sings the song with the same passion.
Yeah.
But just with the different feeling.
Right. I totally agree. So you gave us a little peek into your answer. We got 2 questions to go here earlier, but which one is your favorite? Which you kind of told us that already. So tell us again. But also why? Like why did you pick the one you did?
I picked the Don Henley version.
Okay.
And it is because just out of what we said about how it's pretty much timeless, I'd rather put on the Don Henley version and listen to that all the way through than put on the cover and listen to it and be like, wow, this is 2003.
Oh, okay. So the dated sound of the cover really.
Yeah, it really did it in for me.
Okay. I really do like the aggressive sound of the cover. And I don't have anything against the cover, really. Like, if anything, the lyric change was going to be the thing that I was like, no. But we labored the point of why that's a good thing. Like, how it was done well. And it's not even that I heard the Don Henley version first or I have any sort of affinity for Don Henley, because I don't. But I do think if I absolutely had to pick one, because this is probably the closest cover battle we've done so far for me.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing I dislike about either version. But I do feel strongly that the Don Henley version is more timeless.
Yeah, it is pretty timeless.
And it makes it harder because I think I love how aggressive the Ataris version is.
Oh yeah.
But I like the way that Don Henley's lyrics, in my opinion, make it more sentimental than aggressive.
Yeah, I get what you mean there.
So I'm on the same page with you on that. The last question we always ask is, which version would you recommend? I almost would tell people to go backwards on this. Like, I would tell them to start with the Ataris cover just to see if they like the song at all, and then be like, oh, wow, you want to hear a totally different take on that same thing?
Yeah.
Like, regardless of age, a lot of times when we get to this question, who would you recommend? It's always like, well, it depends on who it's for.
Yeah, it really does.
For this, I don't care what age or what type of music they like. Me personally, I really think I would start with the harder version. And then if somebody's like, oh, that's killer, be like, okay, well, do you want to hear a different take on that? Or if somebody's like, yeah, but like that hard rock's not my thing, I'll be like, okay, great news.
Yeah.
So like, which one would you recommend?
It depends on the person.
That's fair.
But if it's like I'm recommending it to my grandma,
Right.
I'm going to do the Don Henley version first.
Right. Because, yeah.
But,
Because, and I'm not being like, because she's old, but of that generation, people love the Eagles.
yeah, people love Don Henley, and I'm going to be like, so love. So Don Henley wrote a song about that.
Right. Yeah.
And it's very good. And I'd be like, the general vibe of it, I'd be like, Summer of '69. Well, it's kind of that same vibe, and Don Henley did it.
Yeah. Same thought process.
Same thought process. Yeah.
I can't stress enough. It's hard. Like, I always feel like when we get to the picking or the recommending that I am like insulting the other version. And we have done cover battles in the past. Like we did the Pearl Jam cover of Last Kiss, and there was nothing but insults for the original. Like there was nothing we could do. But with this, I don't think either of us really have much negative to say about either version.
Yeah.
I mean, like neither of us like the Eagles, but we like Don Henley's song here.
Yeah.
And then also I think the dated sound of the Atari's version, it kind of puts you off a little more on it than me.
Yeah.
And it very well could be that I was like, that was 3 years before you were born.
Yeah.
And for me at the time, it was kind of like, oh, no way. A younger band is doing that song. Rad.
Yeah,
whereas now you're hearing it going, well, that sounds exactly like them.
Yeah. And if I want, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, this band's better. If I want to listen to the sound from 2003, I'm going to put on like Green Day or Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, that's fair too. Yeah, like you don't know a ton by the Ataris.
Yeah, I don't really know a ton by the Ataris. And it's just, when I think of that time period, Green Day, that sound comes to mind because that really dominated the time.
It sure did.
That's what I'm used to, and that's what I'd go to put on if I want to feel nostalgic for that time.
Right on. Well, this has been a pleasure for me.
Me too.
I'm grateful that you were able to come on the show and have so many thoughts on two different versions of the same song that you hadn't even heard yet.
Yeah.
Which is great. I think that's the first time we've ever had anything like that.
Awesome.
Which is awesome. So what's funny is usually at the end of the episode, we're always like, and then so-and-so has this to promote or whatever, because we have people on the show who have their own channels, and Zach doesn't have anything to promote. He's just an awesome kid.
I do have the Infectious Groove podcast. Well,
yeah. They probably already know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But if they're not, though, they should subscribe to the YouTube channel where you've appeared more than a few times.
I have appeared more than a few times.
Absolutely. So that is what we had on this episode this week. As always, please make sure to send us your feedback. Let us know which is your favorite version of this song and why. And next week on the program, double treat for everybody. Not only does Michelle return to the Infectious Groove podcast next week, but on top of that, Michelle is bringing her pick for an album to review. So,
oh no.
Probably everybody in that instance is going to win except for me.
Yes.
Because she tends to pick albums on purpose that she knows that I won't like. So we'll see how that goes. So
good luck.
Yeah. From myself and Michelle, who will be returning next week. And of course, my son, Zach, here this week. Like we always say about this time, without music, life would be a mistake. Bye.
The Infectious Groove podcast is hosted by Russ Robinson, Kyle Wimple, and Michelle Koselecki. Produced and edited by Russ Robinson. Intro and outro music composed by Chris Kimmel. Recorded with a Rode Podcaster Pro and Rode Pod mics.